Let's go to our next question. This one is again from emails. Thanks for the wonderful opportunity to bring some loving attention to our aging bodies. Many things that could be highlighted, but I am mourning the loss of most is the 20/20 vision I had until my mid-40s. Can we please do some healing focused on the causes of age-related eye problems? I'd really love to ditch the reading glasses. Much love to you. Thank you for this question. Okay, so the question, I can see that the point of, I just rubbed my eye, hilarious, right? Let's do this for everybody. The answer is in the question. Let me read it again. What I am mourning is the loss, the loss of most is the 20/20 vision I had until my late 40s. Pressure. Pressure and stress in the system cause the system to break down. I need another drink, hang on. Fatigue, musculoskeletal. I'm just reading it, just reading for everybody. I'm sure that the nice man who wrote this question is not the only one in the audience. Causes. It's nice to have a source of resource for building, yes, for building energy in the system. What happens over the course of time with age-related problems is a lack of efficient and proper digestion. And there's some lack of efficiency. And when I say proper digestion, I mean at a subcellular level. I mean at the level by which we produce the energy necessary and required to feed the muscles. I mean, to a tremendous degree, eyesight is a muscular thing. To get those two eyes to focus. When the eyesight is out of focus on something, it's because the two eyes aren't exactly aligning. They're not exact. They used to align without thinking. And then they kind of stop. They get like a little lazy. The muscles get a little lazy in there and they quit exactly aligning. And it's not bad character that makes the muscles lazy. It's not bad character. It is asking the system to please draw up the amount of energy required, and then the system is only able to provide some of the energy required, not all of the energy. And the fine-tuning of the focus of the eyes is very delicate. Again, it's at a very delicate level. That's why we're looking down into the subcellular structures of the physiology. Did we focus on this last webinar? I'm trying to remember. I think we did. We spent quite a bit of time looking at subcellular metabolic process. But we're looking again, because it can always be better, right? The discordant feelings, the stress. I'm looking at it. It has a little bit to do with pressure. It has to do with pressure, stress does. When more different kinds of pressure, if you combine time pressure with doing something that's challenging or difficult, this can really cause stress, for example. internal, external pressure. We need some pressure in order for life to exist, because the field of infinite being can be infinite and no pressure in the field of infinite being, right? But then in order to produce the relative, some pressure is required. Some definition, isolation, boundaries. The relative wouldn't be the relative if there weren't boundaries. The boundaries create pressure on the absolute because it wants to flow. So, the answer comes, which is integration. Integration of divinity in the boundaries to such an extent, such a fine extent. This is going to help the subcellular metabolic process. Because to break down the subcellular metabolic process, what we're looking at is, first, how the cells receive the nutrients, right? They have to have the right receptocytes to get potassium and iron and magnesium and calcium. They have to be able to get the stuff into the cell where they can start where the cell can start processing. Then once the nutrients get inside the cell, these nutrients have to break down into their constituent parts. They go into the mitochondria, right? They go into the mitochondria of the cell, which is where the production of adenosine triphosphate takes place. So again, there's a kind of the product being pure, and I trust that people have pure product, then needs to be able to move into that area. And the nourishing quality of divinity, thus moving through the boundaries, in this case of the cells, those boundaries and limitations are designed to rarefy or refine out the most important components. So divinity is in every aspect of creation. But like this great question we were working on earlier, in order to see the divinity or appreciate the divinity, even in, to quote Maharishi, the smell of a dirty bus, the smell of a rotten bus, I think that's the quote, to be able to recognize and imbibe the pure truth of that divine element in any aspect of human experience is the key. So here in this other question, the key here, what I am mourning, but what I am mourning the loss of most is the 2020 vision. It is the experience on the relative that the vision isn't functioning up to par. But it is not the fault of the eyes, and it's not the fault of anything. It is that the body needs to draw on greater source of energy. So what we want to do is we want to open up the inner resources of energy so that the metabolic process functions more efficiently. So then the muscles have the energy they need. When you ask the muscles when you ask it to focus on something this close, they just go, oh yes, I have all my resources necessary to see that. Or far away or whatever. The mourning is an internal pressure. So the pressures can come from inside outside, right? And ultimately everything is one's own self. We're the antenna. This is the thing. So I'm seeing I still have 2 more questions to go to. So, and we're coming to the end of our hour and 15. They go so fast. But I want to give each question its full due out of fairness. So you know me, guys. I'm going to give everybody's question their full due. And I know I owe somebody from last week. I'm aware. With the move, it was a little harder to do extras, but we will. Going into the subcellular metabolic process. Communicating, oh, beautiful. This is a download of information directly to the cells of the physiology. Like we have our big Maha meridian running through our body and we receive downloads from the divine. Every cell has its own Maha meridian. Each cell can receive its own download. And as I mentioned in the last webinar, not this weekend, but the previous one, I think we spent quite a bit of time on this, so definitely check that out because you can get the details on it. Everything's available on Vimeo, I'm pretty sure. And a lot of the excerpts are available on YouTube. Download for the cells. This has to do, we're tying back. Remember, we're working at a very fine level of physiology, which means we're necessarily working at a broad spectrum of humanity at the same time, right? Because it goes on both directions at the same time. And this has to do with inclusiveness, unity, totality, wholeness. The earth is trying to become unified. Family of humanity is trying to unify itself right now. It's a bit of a go. But it's happening. We always have a choice of whether to stand on the side of divisiveness or stand on the side of unity. It is that there's a gut reaction, and I'm seeing for the particular person who asked this question, seems to be, I'm just looking. In endocrine system, in some of the glands in the body, there's a tendency to retract and pull to the side of divisiveness, so unity. We're just bringing in that shift and capability of the physiology, talking to the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus to favor unity. It's not, my dear, it's not something on the conscious thinking level. Again, old patterns that flow from the ancestors, basically. It's a long old thing. So we're having to clear that for everybody on a kind of a big collective level. We are doing it. What is happening? It's very simple truth, guys. Our celestial bodies humming and resonating in pure unity, wholeness. Celestial body producing it like a resonation, like a tone. Ma creates wholeness. It's a tone. It's a frequency of energy. And it feels so good. It's like if you go to the gym and you get used to building up your muscles, it starts to feel good. It feels good to work that muscle. When we ask the celestial body to produce unity as its flow of frequency, the celestial body goes, oh, it feels good to be unity. I am unity. It likes it. It likes it. But what's effective is that it not only flows through one's own system and heals and supports balance, but we are not as antennas of the whole universe. We are also transmitters. So when we produce those waves, like this wave of unity that's being produced right now, it feels good and it supports everyone.